Hi Founder fans, Jason here, and today's founder is Silas Wheeler, a young man who was imprisoned not once, but twice for his service with the Continental Army. Now, by the time the Revolutionary War breaks out, Silas is living in Rhode Island with his wife's family. However, he was originally from Concord, Massachusetts, and as you may have imagined, he had family in Concord, Massachusetts. Several of whom were also named Silas Wheeler, actually, and many of whom served in the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Now, Silas, by this point, had actually already been involved with the Gaspi Affair of 1772, just off the coast of Rhode Island, which, if you're not familiar, was an important, violent confrontation just with the ship off the coast of Rhode Island before Lexington and Concord, one of the many events that led to the Revolutionary War. Now, Silas jumps in and joins the army as soon as word comes around that there's an army to be joining. He joins Benedict Arnold in the famous trek through the Maine wilderness, during which they are forced to eat one of Henry Dearborn's dogs, which relatives would later quote Silas Wheeler as having said, quote, "Nothing ever tasted better to him." They were starving after all, and any food would taste pretty good if you're starving. Now, Wheeler gets with Benedict Arnold to Quebec, where they siege the city unsuccessfully, and Wheeler is one of many people who were taken hostage and imprisoned by the British for a year until he is finally released in a prisoner exchange. Now, during that time, unfortunately, Wheeler caught smallpox and lost his hair. He would remain bald for the rest of his life. This didn't stop him from serving in the war, though. He rejoins the fight, this time as a privateer, and he gets on a ship and starts sailing around trying to take British ships and their prizes. Now, unfortunately, this also does not work out very well for Wheeler. He is again captured, this time brought to Ireland, and he is held as a prisoner of war in Ireland for almost 2 years. Fortunately, he is exchanged this time with the help of Sir Henry Grattan, who was an important Irishman who would later be a figure in the Irish independence movement itself. Now, Wheeler, in exchange for this, would later name his only son after Grattan, but before that, he sails back to the United States. He gets here just as the war's coming to an end. Assuredly, he was very excited not to fight anymore because he spent almost 3 entire years in captivity, which, when it comes to captivity by the British during the Revolutionary War, 3 years is an eternity that seldom few survived. Silas Wheeler was fortunate enough to survive. He ends up being one of the soldiers who, after the war, the Continental Congress had no money to pay soldiers, and many of them they offered land in lieu of payment, and Wheeler was one of the few who actually took the land instead of sold it off. He moves to a town he named after himself called Wheeler, New York, which, side note, I've driven through on several occasions. It's very small. But while he's there, he starts a nice farm. He has many fruit trees, and he was known for any travelers passing by to graciously share his food with, because he would always remember the starving times traveling with Benedict Arnold through the Maine wilderness. So that is the story of a very random founder, Silas Wheeler. I hope you enjoyed learning about this random person. If you did, hit like so more people can learn about the channel and learn about the revolution with us. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Put out videos about the American Revolution 7 days a week, and I'll be back with another founder for you tomorrow.